Hey, let's see how busy we're going to be tonight. Good evening and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View this evening. Just do a little bit of a sound check first. Make sure all's okay. Busy we're going to be tonight. Good evening. There we go. All's fine. Welcome back to welcome back to the channel, as they say. I got a bit of an update from the Season Ticket Alliance Trust this afternoon. Paul McStay and Willie Hawkey plan to meet with the Celtic fan media outlets on the 19th of May to learn more about the Season Ticket Alliance Trust. I did get the email this afternoon. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like I will be able to make it in person due to the fact that it's next week. There's a bit of a distance barrier. But I will try and sort something out for it. And in other Celtic news this afternoon, the referee for the game on a Wednesday evening is going to be John Beaton, if you didn't already know. Let me just do this. The referee will be John Beaton. The VAR will be David McGeehee and Jonathan Bell. Andrew Dallas is on VAR with Sean Carr. And yeah, that is the referee for the game on a Wednesday evening. Tell me your thoughts on that. Just well, it's all fine. Austin Trusty, let me just make sure that the chat is on. Just say good evening to everyone in the chat. We'll get back to. I'm going to leave the Season Ticket Alliance stuff just now. I'm going to run through all the other Celtic stuff that's out there this evening. But good evening to everyone that is in the chat, and then I will come back into the comments and get your thoughts on the Celtic Season Ticket Alliance Trust. I'll get your thoughts on that. Anyway, the referees, we've done that. And the nominations are out for the Football Writers Association's Awards Player Manager of the Year. Derek McInnes is up for it as he's looking to complete a treble, but Martin O'Neill is also in the running. The mainstream media are not going to vote for Martin O'Neill as manager of the year, are they? There is no way that they will vote. Mainstream, there's no way. Are not going to vote for Martin O'Neill as. Just turn that volume down a bit. Can we turn it down a bit? Just turn it down just a little bitty. That's a bit better. Beatle and Dallas, just chance of an honest mistake. We'll talk about that in a minute because Wednesday sees us play Motherwell. Now, fans of a certain age remember a certain Motherwell game years ago. Sunday the 22nd of May 2005, Celtic were away to Motherwell. Celtic were 2 points ahead in the league over Rangers. 2 goals in the final 2 minutes of the game from Scott McDonald destroyed Celtic. The Australia... I'd kind of got over this. But now with the importance that another huge game in Scottish Sports Temple on live Sky Sport Motherwell Cell. Wow. So that's breaking news tonight. Thanks for that, Michelle, because that's a shame because Motherwell, that's a shame. Well, Motherwell will get the TV rights money, but Motherwell had announced this afternoon that that they would have the game on pay-per-view. But the breaking news coming out of tonight is the fact that Michelle's just broke that news for me. Thank you. The game will be live, so we will have the Hearts game on one channel, and we will have the other game on the other channel. The Celtic game on one channel and the Hearts game on the other channel. That's going to be interesting to try and cover. How we're going to do a dual screen thing. going to have to try and find a dual screen method for doing the watch along, won't I? Let me just do this and put that in there. So that is breaking news that's now on the screen, so I could get rid of that. Thank you, Michelle. And that is now on the screen. Hearts are bricking it, yeah. Literally 1 minute ago. Scoop is a good name. Scoop, that's your new name. And thank you for that. Anyway, getting back to 2005. 2005. 22nd of May 2005, 2 goals from Scott McDonald. Celtic opened the scoring that day with a loose ball that fell to Chris Sutton and he slammed it home. The visitors, listen to this, it's quite ironic because we talk about missed chances and opportunities in the modern game, but in that day, on Sunday the 22nd of May 2005, Celtic opened the scoring on 29 minutes. And then the visitors squandered a host of chances and were caught at the death. Rangers started the day 2 points behind Celtic, but made up ground with a 1-0 win at Easter Road. Celtic knew a win would wrap up the title and began the match in a furious rate of knots. Play was scrappy. There was mud on the surface. If you remember Motherwell back then, they had that little slope bit. And the corner section used to get really muddy back then. Bellamy was denied. Craig Bellamy. Funny how these things work out, isn't it? Craig Bellamy was denied the opener after the exchange with Sutton before he fired the low shot. And David Marshall spilled it and it went behind for a corner. John Hartson sent a powerful head on, but Marshall also saved that. The breakthrough came when Alan Thompson disposed Richie Foran, rushed forward, flash ball across goal. Marshall got down to beat the ball away, but the slow defence reaction allowed Sutton to lunge forward and put the ball in the back of the net to put Celtic 1-0 up on the day. Ultimately, when it got to the last couple of minutes of the game, Rangers fans in front, Celtic supporters knew a goal for the home side would cost them dear. The tension inside the stadium in the final 10 minutes was unbelievable. The travelling fans' worst fear was realised when Scott McDonald controlled the ball on his chest, hooked the ball over his shoulder and into the top corner of the net. A bit like Dyson Maeda. At the weekend. I think what I'm trying to do is just make sure that we've come down to earth with a ginormous bump after yesterday. I mean, I want to go into the game on Wednesday full of motivation and enthusiasm and excitement. So if we get all the negativity from the past and put it away behind us, and in that game, Belly missed a sitter identical to the one he missed at Ibrox, says Gav Boy. God, 21 years ago, I would have been at that game as well. And yeah, it was a very, very long time ago. Bit shady, the memory, it has to be said. Other channel. Let me just do this a second and put it away behind. Yeah, that's all sound. So yeah, 25 years ago, Motherwell, who scored in the 88th and 90th minute, stopped Celtic winning the league. Celtic will want revenge. Celtic will want revenge for that game. Martin O'Neill will want revenge for that game. When you think that we had players like Didier Agat, they had players like Stephen Craigan, we had players like John Hartson, Alan Thompson, Craig Bellamy. We had Rab Douglas in goals. Varga in defence. The team that day was Douglas, Agat, Baldy, Vagra, McNamara, Petrov, Lennon, Sutton, Thompson, Hartson, Craig Beattie, Bellamy. And not used subs that day was Paul Lambert, Maloney, McGeady. I wonder what happened to those little lads, those youngsters that were in that team. And it just shows you, you know, that day that final game of the season, Celtic still had a couple of youngsters that came through the academy. When you look at names like John Hartson, Alan Thompson, Bobo Balde, Agat, McNamara, Petrov, Lennon, Sutton, they were all legends of their time. But on the bench that day was Sean Maloney and a young Aidan McGeady. But it wasn't to be. Is this the ultimate revenge, or is it just a case of it doesn't matter what happened back then? I certainly don't think it matters. Martin O'Neill will think, yep, I want to get one over them. For that, I will want to, 21 years, 21 years ago, I was just young then, mate. I was really young. I was really young. But there's younger people on this channel that will not know of what happened that day. So I'm just bringing everyone back down to earth with a bump. I know you want to be up there on cloud nine, and I know you want the excitement to just keep on going. And Martin O'Neill did a 70. Imagine getting your bubble burst by a 74-year-old. It's like getting your wife stolen off you by a pensioner, isn't it? Martin O'Neill. Bursting bubbles. Yesterday showed that Celtic's shirt is too big for Luke McCowan. Whoa, we'll get onto that in a minute. And Jim says, what a starting lineup and bench that was. It was class. Yes, it was that. Craig Bellamy was the only Celtic player booked that day. And the one of the weirdest thing, the attendance that day, and you'll never guess the referee. And the reason that I'm really talking about it is because on VAR tomorrow night, is the son of the year. It was 2005. The referee for that day was the same referee. Well, it's his son who is on VAR tomorrow. You can't make it up, can you? And they say that we've got the referees in our pockets, when it was Hugh Dallas that was referee that day, and we have Andrew Dallas on VAR. Andrew Dallas is no longer a referee. He is the full-time VAR person. He's the head of VAR. That tells you all you need to know about Scottish football. If anybody thinks that VAR or the refs are in our pockets. Worst was to follow for Celtic that day after McDonald squirmed past a couple of challenges to hit his shot, hit a defender and looked over Douglas. Let's just make sure that we win. I did say after Rangers scored an early goal at the weekend, and I thought the way that the game was panning out, the 10-15 minutes, I thought, this could be a 3-1 reversal of the New Year game. And it was, and as exciting as it was. But 2-1, would you take 2-1 away at Motherwell? Of course you would, all day long. I think that Motherwell will get a goal. Thank you, Danny Cassie, for that. Super chat. Much appreciated, mate. But I would take a 2-1 reverse of that goal all day long. Anyway, talking about players that are over the moon to be at Celtic, Austin Trusty is confident that a magical Celtic season can end in title glory. Austin Trusty believes that the fans and the newfound unity within the stadium, the unity that's not been there all season, the unity that's not been there due to the board. Come to that in a couple of minutes, because of the season ticket alliance stuff that is on there. We'll talk about that. Austin Trusty believes that the 3-1 home win over Rangers can be the catalyst to get Celtic over the line. It was an absolutely phenomenal day yesterday. I mean, we went out for a meal and everything afterwards. It was just absolutely brilliant. I thought the fans were amazing in the stadium, and having that game away this week, with all the negativity that's been around this season, the fact that we've still got ourselves a chance, you never know. Motherwell could come back to haunt us on Wednesday night and they could beat us. And if they do, that's it. It's curtains. Doesn't matter what we do. What we need to do is we need to go out and make sure that we win the game. And I wouldn't even say win it comfortably. We managed to get a really good result yesterday. We knew Rangers would fall away in the second half. Will Motherwell fall away in the second half? I don't really think so. I think we've all said leading up to these games, that the Motherwell game was potentially going to be the hardest game. Away at their ground, they're still fighting against Hibernian. But you never know. The stadium was absolutely bouncing yesterday. I forgot what day it was yesterday. And let's just hope we get the right result on Wednesday. Anyway, the ghost of Fir Park is another headline. Martin O'Neill looking for an exorcism at Motherwell as the Celtic boss returns to the scene of his most painful football moment. That final day shootout. All we had to do 21 years ago. Yeah. There's a picture that I've got. There's a bloody copper pissing himself laughing at the ball about to go into the back of the net. I'm not even going to show the goal because it gives me. And there's Martin O'Neill with the realisation that yeah. Let's hope that it's not done. Look who's in the house. The Paisley Sheep is in the house. Where have you been all season, mate? What's happened to your team? Thank you for the super chat. Absolutely fantastic super chat from the Paisley Sheep. You're always welcome on this channel, mate. It's I've not seen a lot of you this season commenting, but it's been a funny old season. I thought you'd be on here ripping the mince out of Celtic, and don't know. But I suppose you're here because you're enjoying what happened yesterday, really, aren't you? It's yeah, it was a good day yesterday. But anyway, Dunfermline and this the tickets for the Scottish Cup final. Dunfermline have now sold over 13,000 tickets for the Scottish Cup final. They do have an allocation of 17,000. Celtic tickets went on sale today, and I did have the screenshot from the email, and it's not there. Just give me 2 seconds and I'll get that. Yeah, the season tickets did go. The tickets for the cup final went out to season ticket holders today, and let me just make sure that there's no information on it, and then put that on the screen. And downloads. First one. And this is the prices, the exact same prices as the Dunfermline one. Remember I told you about the Dunfermline prices about a week or so ago. The tickets for the North and South Stand for adults are £52, under 16 and over 65. £32 for an under 16. That's ridiculous. It's against Dunfermline. No disrespect to Dunfermline, but those prices are ridiculous, aren't they? It's you know, you get a lot of people want to tell kids to go along to these games, want to take their kids to them, but when you look at those prices, it's ridiculous. Do you know, 32 quid for the North and South stand. Now, if you want to go to the East stand and go way behind the goals, it's down to £42. And then the under 16s and over 65s is 27. You would think that the concession prices for under 16s would be less. I mean, I know they're still taking up a seat, but it's going to be an interesting one. Celtic will sell it out. Of course, they'll sell the tickets out. It's the last. It's a cup final that Martin O'Neill will. It will be his last game. I mean, this will sell it within a day. with Celtic season tickets. But anyway, that is the prices, and it has been confirmed by Celtic this afternoon. Tell me your thoughts on that. We Mitch is coming in with a super chat. Thank you for that, mate. Much appreciated. And I hope you're doing good. Open goal with Slaney is good to watch. Fast forward until 3/4 through though. People are saying it's not on Sky. After Michelle said it is on Sky. Let me just. It will be on the land of. I know that it's on pay-per-view. Sky Sports Scotland. Yes, it is on Sky. So stop making up stuff. I can confirm it is on Sky. Falkirk Hearts will be on Sky. And the Motherwell Celtic game is on Sky. And for those naysayers, I'll even prove it by going to Sky Sports Scotland. Breaking huge. And this is just to, because there's a lot of people saying that Michelle is talking nonsense, and a lot of people saying it's not on Sky. Here is the proof in the pudding. It is on Sky. Breaking news. Breaking another huge game in the Scottish Premiership title race will be shown live on Sky Sports, with Motherwell Celtic selected for coverage alongside Hearts versus Falkirk on Wednesday. And then it goes down to the game that starts at 12 o'clock Saturday, Celtic Park. Early kickoff for that one. Celtic versus Hearts to decide who will become champions. So I think a few of you are due Michelle an apology for that one. I just had to get that in because there was a lot of negativity there saying that it wasn't. But anyway, that is the breaking news this evening, this afternoon. Tell me what you think about the Scottish Cup ticket prices. Tell me what you think about Austin Trusty thinking that something magical is about to happen. And tell me what you think about Martin O'Neill trying to put to rest the ghost of 2005, as I now open it up to the comments section. I thought Sky were just going to show you the goals from Fir Park. Nope, they've seen it. Yeah, I'm going to jump through that. It's definitely omitted from the Sky. They must have backtracked. Says a bag of cans. Yes, they did backtrack. You could say that they backtracked, but I think that they realised. I think that they were well within the right. I think everyone, when you look at the forum, you can understand why Sky picked the Hearts game, because on forum, Rangers had never been beaten 3 games in a row in over 24 years. The last time Rangers were beaten 2 games in a row was 2019. So from that perspective, you were expecting either a draw or a Rangers win yesterday, looking at form. Celtic hadn't beat them all season. The performance that Celtic put in yesterday was absolutely phenomenal. So you can understand why these decisions were made prior to the game at the weekend. Because, I mean, looking at the game at the weekend, it was looking like a draw. We'd had 2 draws already this season. We had Rangers demolish us at the New Year derby. We scored first, and then they went on to win 3-1. It's not often that you get 2-3-1 scorelines reversed. That scoreline reversed in a season, and it happened. So gets to Monday, gets 24 hours later, when Sky now know that there's a real title fight and it could go any way on the Wednesday. If they weren't to show Celtic game, Celtic can go out and win this game big. Hearts might lose, and then they've not got their cameras there. It's all about getting the cameras there. But anyway, Scoop's never wrong. No, Scoop is never wrong. It must have been complaints that Sky backtracked that caused Sky to backtrack. Who was doubting my Scoop? Quite a few in the comments. But anyway, we move on. Remember the days when you can go to games for a tenner and 150 for the bus? That's you showing your age, Mr. Lister. And anyway, there's never wrong news put out on this channel. That's just it's maybe early news, but it's never usually wrong. Can't understand how they justify a really another thing that they do. Anyway, um, this boy that Ibrox doing a face like a whelp scallop to arse. Who knows? The Motherwell Celtic game, who do you think Martin O'Neill will start and what team does he start for that game? And more importantly, I think it's who's on the bench. Do you start Dyson Maeda up front through the middle? Of course you do. Do you start Luke McCowan? Not a bloody chance. And what's the chances of Celtic doing the double? I say that they've just went through the roof. It's still going on about spot the ball. Get Lenny to Fir Park. Why would you want to get Lenny to Fir Park? I want to try and keep him away. There's a Celtic manager's vacancy up. I don't want Neil Lennon anywhere near where any rash decision. Crocker is a big one. Bigger. Jesus God. Anyway, that is the news this evening. So, Maeda to continue his goal scoring streak. What do you think about the referees this weekend? Where is that going? The referees. And the referee is John Beaton, Andrew Dallas on VAR. Do we have anything to worry about with that? Considering the Rangers, excuse me, they think that we've got the referees in our pockets. If we had them in the pockets, if you've seen this morning's video, you will see that yeah, we don't have them in their pockets, and they should have had a player sent off. They will say we should have had one off, but I think that they should have had one sent off also. Celtic double incoming, yes, I think so. What a turnaround! See, when you think about looking back to December, and we were absolutely just terrible. I don't think any of us really believed that Martin O'Neill could turn us around that much. I mean, you kind of knew that he could get us to the cup final. You know, you would expect Martin O'Neill to get us to the Scottish Cup final, but it was without our wildest dreams, really. I mean, there were people that said early on, we'll win the league, and they were convinced. Even when we were way behind, there were people saying, we'll win the league. If we do, fair play to them. And I think I just let my head overrule my heart back in December when I thought that Hearts were just way that far out that there was no chance of Celtic catching them. Lemons, every time he's on. I don't want him anywhere near us, mate. Honestly, Celtic FC Media, the new manager is on Celtic FC Media. The new manager is Jens, says Ben Clancy on Celtic FC Media. Well, there you go. If they're claiming that they know who the next manager is, I'm going to say that they're talking absolute nonsense. Right, let's get on to the Season Ticket Alliance Trust. On the 19th of May, where's the email? Paul McStay and Willie Hockey would like to invite all Celtic fan media outlets to an evening, I'm not going to say where it is, on Tuesday the 19th of May to learn about the Season Ticket Alliance Trust. If you could respond with the name of representative who can attend, we will make sure your name is on the guest list. And it's Willie Hockey's secretary that sent that out, coming from the City Holdings Group. So tell me what you think about the whole Willie Hockey thing, and would anyone be available to go on our behalf? Because I'm not flying back for it, not a chance. Let me jump into some of these comments. Hearts have double salt and sauced it. Lol. A bag of cans if we lose the cup final. Wouldn't care because Sevco then go into the Conference Cup. That is the good point, isn't it? I mean, do we get really upset if we lose? If say we win the league, mind you, if say we didn't win the league, and then we go and lose the cup final, that would be very Martin O'Neill like. Then it would be like 2003 all over again. Such a and I pray to God that doesn't happen. I really pray to Jesus. That would be a depressing end, wouldn't it? If Martin O'Neill fluffed it like 2003. Let's hope he doesn't. Um, I thought the league was gone after the Nancy debacle. I love to watch regarding my support for another team. It says Paisley Sheep. I think they should bring back Jock Brown to do commentary in the last game of the season, just like 1986. Chilpel hopes that we ask the Motherwell manager. Um, and I have no idea what that one's about. CSL meeting tonight. Members only, not a member. So anyone? I have no idea. I think that the Season Ticket Alliance Trust is is that the way forward? I forgot about the manager for the bar manager for that's disrespect to the bar manager from Allo Allo, saying that he was like Wilfred Nancy. Surely can do a Zoom meeting. No, it's this is a person to person thing. This isn't like the Celtic Trust or the other organisation. This is they want to look into the eyes of people. They don't want to go down the road of they want to convince you face to face, proper old school, which I respect. I do respect that. I definitely wouldn't. I wouldn't say that I would want to do some kind of Zoom call with it because I understand the importance of this kind of meeting, and obviously they're going to try and butter up the Celtic fan media. My only thing would be to that would be the definition of fan media, because we know that there is fan media that are paid for by the mainstream media. I rest my case on that, and that's all I'm going to say on it. It's there is a very fine line on the likes of YouTube for from my perspective. Organisations that pay people to front YouTube channels from mainstream media companies, and then people like myself that that are just they're doing this off their own back. Better get the rosary beads out tonight, Baz. Pray you've not just jinked us. Nah, chance. Do Falkirk get a draw? Falkirk get a draw? Nah. We're doing the Conference League roundup on Tuesday then, on Thursday. If we win the double, we'll go 3 ahead. Just jump. Are you actually talking about a hot tub? Talking about a hot tub on the chat. McGlynn will do us a favour on Wednesday if I can get a great result. Martin's wife won't buy that. Yeah. I've got faith in Agent Bain, Agent Miller, Agent McGlynn. They'll do us a favour against Hearts. Let's hope so. Let's hope so that Scott Bain has one of those games that is written in folklore for the club that he's at. So yeah, and you're just talking about hot tubs. Joseph had a beautiful steak and chicken. He had a beautiful steak and chicken on the barbecue. There you go. Beautiful steak and chicken on the barbecue tonight. Anyway, right, since you aren't too conversational about the Celtic Lions Trust, I take it you aren't really interested in that. And what's this one? Let's see. It's the hot tub party. The hot tub party. And yeah, sure the missus would love it. Yeah, I'm going home to Scotland to go to a hot tub party. And that and she'd be like, "What the fuck? You having a laugh, mate? Going to Scotland for a hot tub party?" Oh, jeez. The Falkirk team is full of them, yes, but the goalkeeper was a Celtic legend. He is a Celtic legend. He's won a absolute. I mean, are we really worried about the referee situation? Are we really worried about Motherwell? Don't get much information on it. Yeah, I think that we're going to have to wait until the 19th to wait and see what Willie Hockey. I mean, they've kind of given out all the information that's needed, haven't they? And now I think that they're just. This is only. I think it's only to utilize the fan media to put out what they want. Do you know? I know that they could go down the road of doing self-media promotion and all the rest of it and talk to the mainstream media, but the mainstream media would be very divisive in their interviewing, I think, and they could put across a negative connotation for Willie Hockey and Paul McStay, and especially coming in at the end of the season. I think there's more questions to ask for that. I mean, you can understand why they've delayed it until the end of the season because they don't want to take the limelight away from Martin O'Neill and anything he's achieving. But then there's other people will say, well, why didn't they leave it after the Scottish Cup final? Well, after the Scottish Cup final, a lot of people switch off. You know, people aren't going to Celtic Park. So I can understand why they've called the meeting for the 19th for the Celtic Ticket Alliance, Season Ticket Alliance Trust. The 19th, it does give you another week, and it gives you just about a week and a half until season tickets. There will be people that will say, look, this is just a push from someone that's got a connection to the board to push through season tickets. Do you know, there will be people that will say that. So hockey's just trying to get season ticket sales numbers up. What needs to be asked is to Willie Hockey is, do you know, what really is the agenda? Are you really just going to pump in 10 million and have nothing to do with the trust? Because the big fear from fans is that, well, one, Willie Hockey just wants all your phone numbers or your email address. He just wants the data. He wants the data that Celtic have. And people will say, well, do you know, he's a businessman. He'll use that data for marketing, whatever. But I don't think so. He's City Facilities Management Holdings Limited Group is a massive organisation. You know, I've been in the offices, in these big, huge offices when I was selling them evacuation chairs back in the day. So there is a lot of questions that people will want answers to. But my big thing is, why do it before the Scottish Cup final? I can understand that. Why do it before season ticket renewal date is confirmed? I can understand why he's maybe doing that. But there will be people that say, look, he's just trying to get season ticket numbers up. Does it delay Celtic announcing a manager? And does that have an effect on the season ticket alliance? I thought he worked at Celtic. Willie Hockey, no, he doesn't work at Celtic. Jeez, he's far too busy. Doesn't say how many have signed up for the Lions Trust Baz. That's another question that would need to be answered, because I think that they could have on the website a ticker that goes up every time someone signs up. I would advise them to be as open and transparent as possible is if they want Celtic fans to get right behind it, you need to have it as really transparent. But then people will say, look, you can automate these tickets. You can automate a website so that it has a counter that goes up every 5 minutes. Doesn't mean to necessarily say that there are people actually signing up. There is people that will have that. It doesn't matter what Willie Hockey does and Paul McStay do. Doesn't matter what they say. There will be a camp of people that have already made their mind up that they are not in the camp of Willie Hockey and Paul McStay. Is it right to get really divisive right before the cup final? Well, I don't think so. I think it's a question. If anything, I think that they made the announcement that the website and stuff was going live last month. It was the 17th of last month. They've now waited and delayed around about a month. Now I can understand that he's got to pay for Paul McStay's flights from Australia. He's got to get dates for Paul McStay to come over, etc., etc., etc. And when it was initially launched, it was a video call with Paul McStay. I understand the logistics. I do understand all this, and maybe it has just been a case of logistics, timing. People have other things planned, and it's just maybe the two of them trying to get the date together. But anyway, we'll just have to wait and see what the outcome for that is. The mainstream media don't want to lose their Celtic Park privileges. The guy I know said John McGlynn is a Hun. Is that true? Don't care. Who cares? Who cares? That doesn't matter. We should be going into Wednesday evening expecting Hearts to beat Falkirk. Especially when you look at the league table and the results that have transpired over the last couple of weeks. Fixtures. Let's get the results. The results over the last couple of weeks. Falkirk, last game, beaten 3-1 by Hibernian. Hibernian were lucky to hold on to Hearts. Hearts beat them a 9-men Hibernian by the 1 goal. When you look at the previous game with and the good old SPFL website is just absolutely shit. View all results. You've got to go back to the next page. Falkirk beat Motherwell 1-0 on the 2nd of May. And there was the Motherwell manager was booked that game. There was 5 players booked, and the manager was booked for Motherwell on that game. And there was 4 bookings for Falkirk in that game. When you look at the one before that for Falkirk, they got beat by Celtic 3-1, which good scoreline for us. When you look at the Rangers game, Falkirk hammered Rangers 6-3. 6-3. So, Falkirk do have goals, and that was at Falkirk. Away for home, Falkirk are not doing too great. And then before then, they won away. They beat Motherwell again, 3-2. When was the last time that they played Hearts? They got beat by St Mirren Falkirk 2-1. And then they drew 1-1 with Aberdeen. They beat Kilmarnock 5-1 on the 28th of February. It's an interesting one. I think that we go into Wednesday and we don't even consider what's happening in Edinburgh. We look at the result as it's happening. We look at the result as it's coming through. But I don't think that Celtic fans, we need to completely focus on what we're doing at Motherwell. So, yeah. Just going to jump through these comments again. John McGlynn's absolutely not a hunt, for fuck's sake. He's a mad raman, loves it all. Alison says that she feels 98% confident we can do the double now. That's impressive. Oh, yeah. I'm confident in these Levi jeans. Well, really to know that. Hearts are shiting at new. Yes, they are that. And the next 2 games in the league is ours. No favours needed. Yeah. And it does come down to the fact that Celtic know what they need to do. I did say at the beginning of the split, can Celtic win 5 games in a row? Because that's what would be needed to win 5 games in a row and ultimately win the league. Forget about Jambo's game. We need to get through Wednesday first. This is very true. Is this the best that both games that we've played since time were separate? In the game. I don't think that. Yeah, it's better that both games are played at the same time. And it won't influence any decisions during the game because referees, Baz, what's an evacuation chair? It's to get disabled people down a stairwell in case during a fire, Jim. It was a requirement by health and safety executive that every building had to have one. You'll see them in the top of staircases. When you go into any public building and you'll see this big yellow safety seat at the top of a staircase, maybe even at the bottom of a staircase. That's what I sold for the medical company I worked for. But anyway, it was a long time ago. There you go. There's your answer, Jim. Forget what's happening in Edinburgh, and does it have any bearing on what will happen during the game? No, because Celtic know that they need to go out and win. It's as simple as that. Martin O'Neill will make decisions on the pitch. The only way that Martin O'Neill and the players will know if Hearts are losing a goal is the cheer from the fans. The cheer from the fans. That's it. That's the only way that the players, the management, the backroom staff will know if anything's happening in Edinburgh. They won't be checking their phones because they'll be that focused. Everyone will be really focused on the game and making sure that Celtic get the job done. You've got to remember as well, it's an away game at Motherwell. It's not going to be an easy game. With that said, don't know. Anyway, time to turn human into something cannibal. What? Ay. So not a fancy word for a shitter then. Fair enough. No. Anyway, right. My throat is done this evening after yesterday's exploits. I've managed to get through 47 minutes. Unbelievably. It's been it's not been too bad tonight. It's done quite well tonight. Just looking at some of the comments that's coming in. Big shout out and a big thank you to the people that give the super chat tonight. Danny Cassie, the Paisley Sheep, who is a fantastic little. He watches the channel and doesn't say anything. I know this. And then a super chat from Wee Mitch as well. And thank you to everyone who's commented this evening. Tomorrow we'll all be looking forward to the game on Wednesday. Today was all about recovery for the players. It was probably about recovery for a lot of Celtic fans because there was quite a few hangovers and quite a few sore throats. Celtic go into the game tomorrow. Not tomorrow, I'm way ahead of myself. Wednesday evening, knowing that they must win away from home. Anything less will mean they will not be crowned champions. Can Hearts handle the pressure? That's the big question. I've seen a Hearts fan say today that the pressure is all on Celtic. It would be a devastating season for Celtic if they lost to Heart of Midlothian this year, having the money that Celtic spent. What money, mate? The money that Celtic spent to bring in, like Balak Wisha, 5 million, etc. But when you look at what has happened to Celtic this season, the fact that Brendan Rodgers just did what Brendan Rodgers does, really. Martin O'Neill comes in, saves us, brings us back from an old banged out Honda Civic to Martin looking like he was 20 years younger and driving a Range Rover or souped up Fiat Panda. In come Wilfred Nancy and myself and quite a few other Celtic fans did not concede the title at that point, but thought it would be very, very difficult for Celtic to get back within a chance of winning the league, especially after the humiliation of getting beat 3-1 by Rangers in the Glasgow Derby at the new year. Thankfully, yesterday we reversed that scoreline. Thankfully, we had Martin O'Neill back to save the day. Unbelievably, we go in to the last week of football. I'm gonna cry. I fucking don't know what I'm gonna do in my life. I'm just gonna be fucking just sitting here talking to myself, just be like, hi, my name's Baz from One Celtic Fans Views. Is there anybody there? It's summertime, summer loving. Yeah, it will be summertime. To think that we are just one full week away from being crowned SPFL champions again. If it happens, oh my days. And then we've got the Scottish Cup final to look forward to. Anyway, have an absolutely fantastic evening. Will you be doing a watch long show for the last game of the season? Yes. Yes, I will be. Teamed up with Keith from Come On the Hoops. Can we do that? I'd probably better not doing that because the time difference, and don't know, he might be ahead of me watching it and I might not be ahead of him. But I've never done a joint one all season, so I don't think I'm going to do a joint one from the last one of the season. Stealing my thunder, especially if I burst out crying. No one's saying, fucking get a grip, mate. What are you crying for? We've only won the league. Or I might be crying because we lose the league. Anyway, have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, and just think about it. You could be Rangers. You could be going into these last two games and having absolutely nothing to play for. There is a lot of talk online that Rangers are going to boycott the remaining home game of the season. Let's hope to do. Have an absolutely fantastic evening, Celtic fans, wherever you are. Thank you to everyone who's joined the live tonight. It's been over 2,000 people on a Monday night. It's fantastic. Usually folk can't be bothered with like Celtic stuff on a Monday night. I'll see you all in the morning.